Here we are in OGC Nice training ground. I've got a chance to have a quick chat with Jim, just to have a look back over a pretty exciting year, 2019.
Yes,
what would be your real highlights from this last year?
Well, I think the highlights split into two, really. They're the sporting highlights and the business highlights.
Yep.
The sporting ones stand out, I suppose, quite dramatically because we won the Tour de France, which was extraordinary experience. And then we broke the 2-hour marathon in Vienna, the Project 159, which was sort of equally remarkable, really. And then a whole series of things in business. So, we bought two quite large businesses, about $1 billion each, titanium dioxide and the composites business based in America. And we've announced one or two large builds. We've got Project One in Antwerp, which will be the first mega project, I think, in Europe for probably a generation. We announced this Middle East project with Total and Aramco, $1 billion in the UK on various projects. So, I mean, it's been extraordinary year, really.
Yeah, packed a lot into.
Not had many gaps.
If you just sort of look back on the chemical side first, Project One, I mean, that is going to be, I think, transformational.
It is a statement of faith in Europe, but also we are short of those two major products that it will make, ethylene and propylene. So whilst there is risk attached to a large investment in Europe, and of course all the world at the moment is either investing in China or America, a little bit in the Middle East, but it's predominantly China and America is where all the, the money in chemicals is going. So we're sort of stepping out from that. We don't have market risk because we're 1.5 million tonnes short of ethylene and we're about 700,000 tonnes short in propylene. So we will immediately sell all the product because we'll sell it to ourselves,
I guess, if you look at some of the other stuff that's been about geographic expansion as well, we've got the two big acquisitions in the US, we've announced the partnership in the Middle East. How do you see that playing out over the next couple of years in terms of geographic expansion? In
an organisation as large as INEOS, there's always benefits in some level of geographic diversification. And there are 4 main regions in the world that makes chemicals. This will give us a sort of a sensible position in the Middle East, and at some stage I think we'll probably do something a bit more substantial in the Far East as well, but we're obviously big in Europe and America, which are the other two. So I think, if you always look at the world, there tends to be, there's always a bit of up and down. America's doing well, Europe's not, the Middle East is doing well, China's not, whatever. So a bit of geographic diversification is a good thing for us, as long as we're happy with the sort of fundamental economics, which we are. Of course, the other area we've been doing quite a lot of work is on our new project in automotive. Yes. We had a couple of big announcements. We announced the powertrain partnership with BMW in March. We announced the manufacturing strategy and the name of the project in September. How do you think Project Grenadier is going? All going according to plan at the moment. I think we're all quite excited about that project because it's in a sense, I think it's probably going better than we anticipated. We've always sort of described this project in terms of its characteristics as this triangle of qualities, which is reliability, looks and off-road capability. And so we were trying to complete the 3 points on the triangle. The engineering aspects of this is all predominantly being done in Germany, Austria. They're going to make a seriously good car. And then the Brits really have got involved in the design, and that turned out to be really much more challenging than I thought. But I think it does look a very cool looking car. It's a bit different from the modern SUV, which all look like a jelly mold. It doesn't look like a jelly mold. So it is quite boxy. If we've got to tick in the 3 boxes, reliability, off-road capability, and it looks pretty good, and the price level is quite sensible, it has the ability to be a very successful product. So coming back to sport then, we're sitting here in Nice. Yes. How do you feel about this one? Oh, he's got great supporters. I mean, they really are loyal and fanatical supporters. Part of the strategy here is to try and develop and buy younger players and bring them through. It's a very attractive place for a young, aspiring footballer to come to. And, there are 3 Champions League places. There are 5 or 6 teams in France that can compete for that, and Nice is one of them. And so we've got a lot to learn. People shouldn't expect success in 12 months. It's a sort of 3 to 5 year project, I think. But our aim would be to try and get into the Champions League on a regular basis. I think that would be a very, very fine achievement here. And then 159 in October. I mean, that was something very special. For a guy to do 42 kilometres at 2 minutes 50 and sprint the last kilometre is absolutely extraordinary. And he's such a wonderful man as well. He's a part of history now, isn't he? Nobody will ever forget moment. I think also it's worth saying, INEOS did manage that event extremely well. It was in very short order. It was only about 9 months start to finish, and it was meticulously organised. And it's one of those things that's so difficult to break 2 hours, that you have to get absolutely everything right. A lot of effort went into getting us there.
Yeah. And looking forward to next year, a year from now, we'll be in New Zealand. How are you feeling about where we are on the America's Cup Challenge?
Well, I mean, it's anybody's guess, really, I think, the America's Cup Challenge. It is such an extraordinary challenge for mankind. Nobody should underestimate the technical challenges. And then, you know, when you've mastered those technical challenges, you've got to hand it over to Ben and his sailing team to race it. I think the event in Auckland for the 3 months is going to be very, very exciting. It's going to be very tightly fought, I think.